let's talk about the dating shit.
Okay.
Like a lot of these guys watching this, man, they want to get more girls or hotter girls. What would you say to that guy?
You want to get more girls, you want to get hotter girls. There's two sides, right? There's two sides here. One is you have to take action.
Okay.
Right? Because even if you're wealthy, ripped, you still, as the man, are still gonna have to take action to lead things forward. Girls rarely are just gonna like show up naked in your bed. You're gonna at least have to start the conversation. Rarely. No, it can't happen, but it's not the norm.
You don't depend on it. You don't depend on that. That's not a good mating strategy.
Exactly. You still gotta understand the dynamic, right? Of I'm gonna lead the way forward. I'm gonna reach out. I'm gonna initiate things. I'm gonna lead things forward the way I want it to go, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of guys look at that as a curse because like, oh, it's all my responsibility. I do all this shit. But you also get to create what you want with it. So it's a double-edged sword.
I always feel like we're better off than women in that regard because most women are kind of waiting for the guy to come to them, but like we can actually go after what we want. I mean, not that women can't.
It's kind of aggressive, kind of masculine.
A little bit. You know what I'm saying? So, but I feel like the ball's in our court.
Yes.
For the most part.
As long as we're okay with rejection. But that's like, if you're not okay with rejection or failure, your businesses are not going to do well, your dating life's not going to do well, nothing's going to do well.
So you say that's one thing you got to do is be okay with rejection.
And failure, yeah.
You know what? I got sent away to an all-boys military school for high school. Yeah. Because I got in a little bit of trouble, man. You know, just nothing crazy, man. Just skipping school, you know, fights, shootouts, you know, regular shit.
Yeah, of course.
Regular middle school shit. I got sent away to a military school. And it was all boys.
Yeah.
Then I went to college. I was like, all right, I need to figure out this girl shit with the quickness, right? So what I did was, this is kind of insane in retrospect, but I was 17. I went to college when I was 17 because I'm smarter than you. So I was like, I'm going to introduce myself to 5 new girls every day. Yeah, I just started there, not trying to fuck them, not trying to be the fucking international playboy. Just meet girls because I hadn't went to school with girls. I hadn't like had a lot of conversations with women my age.
But that took a lot of like, I mean, 17-year-old, like that's intelligent.
Shit. Yeah, you know, and I'm smarter than I get credit for because I joke around a lot and I talk like a slave. But like people don't understand how people.
No, but I'm saying that's not. You're saying that's like a funny thing, but it's also kind of like a genius thing.
Yeah. 5 girls a day, and what happened was, you know, halfway through the school year, like I knew like everybody. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, because everywhere I go, there was like girls I knew, and then guys wanted to know me because of that. You know what I'm saying? And I wasn't in no fraternities and no shit like that. Like I knew everybody, and you know, when you know almost all the girls in school at that point, you know what I'm saying? Or at least the hot ones. Yeah. You know, things kind of like proximity, things kind of work out in your favor.
Yeah. But you got to be okay with rejection even
That's what I'm saying. Even rejection. But that's how I started, just super small, just introducing myself. And some of them like kind of weird, but you know, after a while it wasn't weird.
That's the same shit I kind of had to go through. Yeah. But maybe it was 24 or something when I was like, all right, I got to get the shit figured out. And that was like any attractive girl I see throughout my day, the grocery store, the gym, I gotta at least go say hi. I don't gotta ask them all out, but I at least gotta go say hi or like ask an innocent question, you know? So I think that's part of it, is having that ability. Now the other part of it is, as you level up, you gain access to like hotter and hotter girls, basically, right? Because if you're broke and you're out of shape, that women aren't going to be attracted to that, right? That opens the door. But now let's say you're in shape, but you're still broke. You can make that work. You're going to take your shots. You
Especially
can make that
if you're
work.
young.
If you're young. That's the other thing, age as well, right? Yeah. But now, as you level those things up, regardless of age, it's like you're unlocking like the next door. You're like getting access to the next level on the elevator, right?
Yeah.
And as long as you're actually okay with rejection and you're going after things. So I think those are the two main things. I've never been a fan of like game and like you gotta like push, pull, and negger and DHV. You know all these old terms.
Oh
man.
yeah, you know
not that there's no value at all, but I've been more fan of like level up your life and then just take the shots.
Yeah. I like that strategy. That's the kind of strategy I took. I am friends with those guys, right? Like
you're with all the RSD guys. Back
those were my, you know, Owen's like my mentor. He's like
I used to watch all his videos.
He's like a big brother to me. You know what I'm saying? Owen from RSD.
He's the OG.
He's definitely like a big brother. And I went out with those guys and like people thought those videos were staged at one point.
Yeah.
Nah.
I believe
it wasn't staged. But so there is that. But at the same time, I always felt like they're teaching these guys to pretend to be me. Or to pretend to be like me. And maybe they needed it, right?
You have a lot of social awkwardness. You gotta also like figure out how to be more socially aware.
But I wasn't like a natural, but what I did was I focused on myself, kind of like what you're saying. At the same time, just trying not to be weird around girls. I never learned gang.
Yeah.
Even though I read the books, you know, and I was like, man, I break all these rules. You know what I'm saying?
But that can work because I was friends with a lot of these guys in Boston who were in deep in the game. And they always looked at me as like the silent killer, but that's because I just did my own thing and then Because also what I realized, like the guy the girl goes home with is not necessarily the highest value guy or the guy who has the best game. It's just like the best option she has that actually just takes the shot. Just by taking the shot alone, that's when I started getting laid consistently. It doesn't happen unless if you never ask a girl, hey, you want to come back to my place, you're never gonna get laid.
Yeah.
So just by just starting to like just do that, things will change.
Yeah. And then do you think it becomes, well, you've been fucking in a relationship for so long, man, I don't even know to ask you.
Well, yeah, I never experienced dating with clout. I never had the clout while I was dating. Yeah, that doesn't eat away at me though. For a couple of years, that was like my priority even before the businesses, right?
So that was super young. And shit.
Yeah, so that was like trying to go 3, 4, 5 dates a week. You know, it was me and my buddy Dave Parada. He does well, but we were living together in Boston and Spain. It was just like every night me and him were on a date with a different girl. Like every night we were just. And I think I went overboard with that, but I also got it out of my system. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know about going overboard with that shit.
I do think most guys probably need to get it out of their system.
You know, I know a guy who didn't have as much fun as me, didn't date as many girls and all that shit. And he's like legit 10 times more wealthy than me. And he's 10 years younger.
Yeah.
You're right. You know what I'm saying? So that's like, oh, I squandered a lot of my fucking time on empty victories.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But for me, I still feel like dating was still maybe a little bit of like, and dating and fitness, they were like the gateway drugs to entrepreneurship, right? Because once I got over the dating thing, because I always thought it wasn't gonna happen for me. Then once I got over rejection there, it was almost like, what else could I do? You know, what else could we do? What else could we do? I think business was the next natural thing.
Yeah, maybe some guys need to like accomplish, especially young guys, because I'm 40, right? So I know what it's like to be young. I was young once, and when you're young, you actually haven't done a lot, so you actually do have something to prove. And I think that's one of the ways guys kind of prove themselves. You know, it's weird. Guys talk about girls seeking validation, but I think a lot of guys are seeking validation by how many women they have sex with.
Yeah, no, that's no, 100%, man. Yeah, I think most guys, they care more about the women they sleep with because of what the other guys they know are going to think about it. Yeah. I think that's the real motivation at the end of the day. You don't want to be the guy who's like just hearing the stories your friends are telling. You want to be the guy telling the stories.
But there's something about that makes me think, man, what if you did something like important? What if you use that energy on something that's like actually valuable?
But right? When young, that's what feels important, man.
No,
right?
I get it. But you know, I'm just afraid there's going to be a lot of guys who grew up in the YouTube, who grew up with YouTube, right? I was already an adult when YouTube came out, right? Who grew up with YouTube and grew up with all this advice, who are going to be my age with nothing but a bunch of funny stories to tell.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? That's my fear.
Well, I think there's been a bit of a reaction to it lately, where there's guys who are now I'm hearing more and more like, you know, this return to traditional values of like, even as a man, save yourself till marriage. Like, wait for that. And I mean, I'm always someone who takes the middle path. So I'm not a fan of just whoring yourself out.
Yeah.
And like making that your only goal in life. But I think there's some value to dating different girls if you are going to settle down, before you decide who you're going to settle down with.
If nothing else, to see.
Yeah.
Or to see what you like. Like, you know, if you've never drank wine before, you can't tell me what the kind of best wine
I'm just going to have that one for the rest of my life.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you know unless you pick? Now,
Yeah.
if you ask a Somalian, what are they called? The wine guys, Somalians.
Somalians?
Yeah, that's the guys who know all about wine.
Those are the guys from Somalia.
Yeah, man, you go to a restaurant, there's a Somalian who tells you all about wine. Everybody, come on, man, you ain't been to enough high-end restaurants. We'll hang up where you live. So the Somalian comes by, and he knows all about wine. He's a wine expert. He can tell you trust him.
I mean, now I know to trust the Somalian. I didn't know before, man. Now I know. Here we go.
Oh, how you pronounce that, man?
Somalian.
Yeah. Oh, Somalian. All right, cool.